Let me see if I can do a better job for Jacob Rafelson and prevention. And there are two curves here. One is a normal eye, the green, and the pink or purple wearing a plus lens for close work when you're at 20/50. What I sketch here is a completely normal eye, which is dynamic from birth. This, I don't sketch any defect of the eye, just what normal eyes do from long-term close work or 12 years in school. If you don't want to understand it that way, you're thinking all eyes are bad cameras, you're not going to understand this graph, you're not going to understand prevention at 20/50, and you won't stay with anything for a very long period of time. Now, Rupa has her kids long-term, and when I learned to age 8, 5, 8, age 10, 16, to age 23, essentially grade school to graduate school. And she is going to have them using atropine. To present them, look at age 6, from going down half diopter, in which case you have the choice of either using a minus lens, in which case it really gets bad, or use atropine. And she wants to stop it while the kid still has 20/20. Okay, now the other curve is Eskimos who do no reading. They did not do 12 years in school, and their refractive state remained positive during the school years. I mean, 12 years, no school. Their kids went downward, half diopter per year. It is a reasonable estimate for the totally normal eye. There is no defect here, just a gross misunderstanding of the behavior of all normal eyes. So this graph came from Francis Young, who went to Alaska and made these measurements using a retina scope. And I agree with him. But if you don't have a broad-based picture of the completely normal eye starting at birth, you're going to jump to the conclusion that nobody knows the reason the normal eye goes down, completely normal. There are no defects here. Only the normal eye behaving as designed and expected. As an electrical engineer, I do postulate the eyes are dynamic, and then test to see if all normal eyes control themselves to the average of accommodation. That works complete. But no one in optometry wants to understand it. And absolutely not understand it. They will deny everything here, all of it. Because they'll always say, we don't know why the eye goes down. We have no idea what happens. Absolutely no clue. But we can fix it with a minus lens and stop asking questions. So there is age 5 to age, 22. And they're down to -8 diopters, which is where I wound up. I don't get mad at this. I think it's tragic ignorance, profoundly tragic ignorance, because they cannot think of the eye as the dynamic system it always was and use the term refractive state. They only want to say error when there's no error. The error is a gross misunderstanding of the behavior of the eye. It always is like that. But I truly agree that prevention is going to require a person who designs control systems will take the time to understand that all eyes at birth are dynamic. They're not box cameras, which you can play games with. So Rupa Wong has the right idea. And looking at that red line, which is Eskimos who do no close work, that's her kids. And that would be me if I'd been able to use the plus. Me now, because I use the plus to keep my refractive state measured as positive. So, and looking at my two graphs, Eskimo graphics, and I realized that we got to talk about fundamental scientific truth. And what is science? The behavior of all eyes measured as a refractive state, never as a medical error. As long as medical people get involved, they start drawing a camera and they say, we don't know what you're talking about. That's fair. But then they don't learn anything either. Now that red line, that's Rupa Wong. She knows if she doesn't do anything to stop it, her kids will go down half diopter per year. So that's why Rupa Wong uses atropine on her kids. Now this is, in talking with Jake Rafelson, he realized much the same thing. Now he didn't use atropine, but he has kids wearing the plus if they got down to 20/60. That is scientific, it's an either or. Either you get the idea correctly, in which case you use the plus correctly, or you ridicule the plus as a solution, method of prevention, and you keep on going down half diopter per year because the optometrist is more than happy to give you the strongest minus lens and tell you, oh, your environment has no effect on the eye. So keep the argument at a scientific level, refractive state as measured by me, and I don't argue recovery for exactly that reason, except for 2050, for people who design control systems, because trying to argue with other people don't understand this idea can't be effective. And I can't argue recovery much beyond 2050, and Rupa Wong won't argue for recovery at all. She won't use atropine to recover from nearsighted. Thanks for your interest.